2024, 9:30 in the morning. The purpose of this meeting is to conduct the regular United Mutual Board meeting in accordance with Civil Code 4930 and was hereby noticed in accordance with Civil Code 4920. I call us to order, and I see that we have a full house with the exception of Tom, who is traveling. And yes. Yeah, she's on her way. Sue is on her way. So with that, we can proceed. And with the Pledge of Allegiance, Tony Liberatore will lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Assuming there's no additional media but the electronic one present, we will look for an approval of the agenda. And I would like to add under 13E, with your permission, a small discussion of a survey, possible survey that might be done of United members. So do I need to move that, Maggie, to amend the agenda? Move agenda with the addition of 13E. Is there a second? Thank you, Maggie seconds. No one objects? Thank you. I would like to ask for approval of meeting minutes for December 12th, 2023, the regular open, and December 28th agenda prep meeting. Does anyone object to those minutes being approved as submitted? No objection, we'll proceed. My report to you this morning is, of course, to wish you all a happy and healthy new year. And it seems like we celebrate the new year now, and we'll celebrate it again February the 10th with Chinese New Year, and after that we'll be really sure that we're into a new year. And of course, with the new year comes a new budget, which you know about. You've all been in receipt of your letters regarding new monthly assessments. And of course, we're very happy with the fact that those assessments are well under the inflation rate for 2023 and well under the cost of living adjustments that we got in our Social Security checks, if you received that, if you're old enough to qualify, that is. Now, we're busy, of course, with the year-end closing in the Finance Department, and next month we will have some year-end figures to report. And then, of course, the audit ensues after that. That's the financial stuff. There is an exciting array of challenges ahead. I think that's a kind of a euphemism when people say an exciting challenge. Usually it's quite the opposite. But there are always pluses and minuses to challenges. One is, of course, the Clubhouse 1 closure that will occur later this year. And there's going to be lots of information distributed about that. Another big project that we will continue, of course, is the improvement of our homes and our landscaping. We're going to continue to search for ways to control our property insurance costs. Huge budget item there. We're looking for ways always to improve communications with you all and with each other and with our fellow boards in the community. We also are continuing to demand value for our money spent, and we're always looking to serve the good of the whole community, the whole United community, as well as our village community. There will be some spending of money this year, no surprise there. We'll be spending about $13.3 million from reserves on maintenance and construction projects. A lot of them are the normal things. They're exactly the same things you've been seeing year after year. Roofs being replaced, painting going on. You'll be seeing, of course, the continuation of the epoxy lining program for our plumbing, our aging plumbing system. Additionally, we will be spending about $1.4 million on landscaping reserve projects that are big capital projects. If you want to see details of these Capital projects, you can look at pages 15 and 16 of the 2024 Green Book under the United section, and it will give you project by project where those reserve expenditures are going to fall. So with that, that's all from me, and we will go on for an open forum. 3 minutes per speaker, please. And at this moment, members may address the Board of Directors regarding items not on the agenda and within the jurisdiction of the Board of Directors. The Board reserves the right to limit the total time allotted for the open forum to 30 minutes. I don't think we're going to go over that today. A member may speak only once during the forum and may not allot their time to other people. No audio or video recording by attendees. No rude or threatening comments. And members can join by Zoom or by telephone with those numbers given in the agenda. Are there any open forum speakers, Paul?
Yes, our first speaker is Chris Collins.
Good morning, Chris.
Good morning and Happy New Year to all of you. I'm here with an update on the work of the Foundation of Laguna Woods, which is on behalf of residents who are experiencing temporary financial crisis. Thank you. This is Neighbors Helping Neighbors. Holiday cheer can take many forms, but for the Foundation of Laguna Woods Village, the past December, it meant that we were again able to provide holiday cheer to nearly 150 village residents. With the help of the Social Services and South County Outreach Food Pantry, the Foundation was able to identify those in need of this cheer and provided them with grocery cards in an effort to help them improve their holidays. We would not have been able to do this without the generous support of individual people, clubs, and organizations that are here in the village. These donations are particularly appreciated since inflation has negatively impacted many residents. In 2023, the Foundation Emergency Financial Assistance to Residents jumped to a little over $177,000 from approximately $120,000 in 2022. This year, the Foundation was also able to continue funding Meals on Wheels, provide scholarships to Alzheimer's support services, transport residents to the food pantry, and sustain fall prevention efforts, including the rental of emergency response devices, among other projects. In addition to all the individual residents who have donated to the Foundation, we are extremely grateful to the following clubs, religious organizations, and other groups who have donated this past year. And because they certainly are experience the effects of inflation as well. So some of the clubs are the American Italia Club, Aquadettes, California Club, Center for Spiritual Living, Chicago Club, College Club, Film Club, Hikers Club, Joyful Christian Church, Korean American Club, Lawn Bowling, Men's Golf Club, Needlework Club, Potters and Sculptors Club, RV Wheelers, Republican Club, Scottish Heritage Club, the Slipcasters Club, Taiwanese Club, Table Tennis Club, and Theater Guild. Best wishes for the new year, and thank you for your generous support to the Foundation. It's truly Neighbors Helping Neighbors. So for more information please go to our website, which is the foundationoflagunawoodsvillage.org, or contact the Foundation at 949-268-2246, or the Foundation at comline.com. Please note that donations may be made with pen file on the Foundation website. Thank you. I forgot my glasses.
Right to the second. Thank you, Chris.
I forgot my glasses today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the good work that you do.
Next speaker is Barbara Kefferle.
Good morning. My name is Barbara Kieferl. My Manor number is 11A, and I am a part-time resident of Laguna Woods. We come here and we've owned our place for 10 years. And I'm want to discuss, I want to bring up a concern about our laundry room, which is laundry room number 8. There are 3 washers, 3 dryers. I have been here since November the 14th, and there's only been 1 operating washer since November the 14th. There's a note on one of the washers that says in September, I guess maintenance came out and the washing machine is supposed to be replaced. So it's been September since there has only been 1 washing machine working. So I'm kind of wondering what the process is for replacing a washer and what the communication process is for if people, because I email and I make phone calls to maintenance, and I don't hear anything, although I did hear something this morning, which is interesting. But what the process is for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
We will
you.
get back to you. Thank you. Paul?
Next speaker is Monica Liu.
Good morning, Happy New Year to everybody. I appreciate this opportunity to speak for my voice. Regarding my property tax, I received a letter, but the amount for the property tax for supplemental is different than what I expected. I'm a realtor. I learned how to calculate property tax during the transaction buying selling. That should be because I purchased last year end of March. My property from last year should be the new adjustment should be calculated from the day I bought the new property tax. Because last year didn't charge me the supplemental, so I should pay in 2024. I checked with county. County told me the adjustment from the date I bought till end of June, which is the first half of the year, I owe $189.34. So according this figure, I also owe for the second half of the year, for the 2 more quarters. So total I owe $554.10 from 2023. This number should be, according to your HOA calculation, should be averaged to the 2024. So each month I should pay extra $46 for the 2023 I owe, plus the new price adjustment for the 2024. I also should pay the increase for each month on the new price. So total add together is different than the letter I received. I calculated around I think $100. But anyway, the letter said I should pay extra $154 plus $130. I think that is different than my expect. I hope somebody review my case. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Liu, did you contact Orange County Assessor's Office?
Yeah.
And verified the numbers?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Then we'll follow up in the Finance Department. Thank you.
Okay, our last speaker is Gerald Tilley.
Morning,
Morning.
Madam President and board members. Some of you have seen me before, so I'm following up I was informed I should fill out a property damage statement of loss, which has been turned in to, I guess it's the Renovations and Construction Committee or a department, I mean, of Resident Services. I also sent a copy of the pictures of the damage to Madam President, and I needed to know if, one, I needed to give out any hard copies or copies to anyone else on the board, or if there were any questions of me.
If you have a set of them here, Jerry, maybe Siobhan can take them and move this along.
Okay.
I don't have a color printer, so,
Okay,
okay,
thank you.
thank you.
Any questions then, or?
We'll be back in contact with you as soon as
Okay.
possible. I did
Okay.
get your email, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Anyone else? Paul, thank you, okay. Response to today's forum speakers? Anything, Siobhan?
I did want to mention that Steve Hormuth will get back to Mrs. Liu about the property tax information. And then we are working on the laundry room number 8. One of the machines is scheduled for replacement and is in the queue. But we will follow up with you directly.
Okay. All right, and,
Madam Chair, I have a question.
Yes,
for Mrs.
yes.
Billy. Have your repair, it's for your roof, right, the skylight?
Yeah.
Yes. Have they been replaced and fixed?
So,
Have they been replaced and fixed? I'm sorry.
yes, I got it fixed because we were worried about rain.
Sure. So it's all fixed. Okay. Just want to make sure.
Okay.
And the report has the
Ready?
invoices on it.
Okay. All right. Did you have insurance? I remember.
Or condense it.
Covered the inside ceiling part, but not the roof.
Okay. All right.
Okay, thank you. Response to past open forum speakers, Director Kale.
Yes, hi, good morning. We have several responses. The first one is from Maxine McIntosh. And she would like to inform, educate, and remind residents that United is not an HOA, as we do not own anything in United. She stated that we are a nonprofit mutual that is on a 3-year lease that the board automatically renews, and she would like the residents to be well informed. The next one is a statement from Andre Torng. He talked about customer service and customer satisfaction. He recommended that we use customer complaints as a measurement of performance. Next statement is from John Beckett. He talked about the GRF trust agreement presentation that would be discussed the following day, and he wanted to ask those who were attending to ask their attorney if they had a court order to amend the trust. Then the next one is a statement from Gay Page, who apologized for the confusion that was caused by the mistake she made in reviewing the financial report from the last month's board meeting. She wanted to amend her original request. She was asking the United Board to take the lead in inviting all board members as well as residents to a comprehensive audit presentation. And the last statement was from Marcia Hawkins, who reported 2 broken machines in Laundry 151. She also mentioned that she has seen raw sewage under her kitchen window in the planter from a sewer backup. And that's the end of the statements.
And all of these were appropriately followed up with the right department. Okay. At this time, we have a report from one of our VMS board representatives, Cynthia Rupert. Cynthia's on Zoom with us this morning. Good morning, Cynthia.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, President Bach and honorable board members. I hope everybody's doing well today. I am Cynthia Rupert. I am the United VMS board appointee, and I'd like to give a somewhat quick update to United. about what's going on through VMS and what might be important to them. First thing I'd like to discuss is that there is, of course, the closure for Clubhouse One, as President Bach mentioned. Currently, the entire recreation department, led by Allison, is trying to relocate all of the different recreation, sports, events, anything that is set up in Clubhouse One. It's a rather large task, but they are handling it very competently. As you mentioned, it will close on March 4th, 2024, for really very, very detailed renovations. They are trying to find places and other venues to hold the classes, which is difficult, and then to accommodate anybody that is renting within the clubhouse. The next thing I would like to talk about is they still have staffing issues. They're having a hard time getting employees, but mainly for setup and tear down of these events. It requires a certain amount of strength and dexterity. And even though we have volunteers, many of them are not able or capable of handling that position. So they are currently looking for people that would be for that specific type of work. So that is in process. And staffing is a little difficult right now, but they will accomplish what's necessary. Another topic I'd like to report on is a proposed amendment to the bylaws that would allow residents to be hired on a full-time basis, because currently they can only work in part-time positions and specific positions like gate ambassadors or bus drivers. But we see that there's so much knowledge out there, and so many people desire to do part-time work or do little things here in the village. We have decided to discuss and make some changes, possibly to the bylaws, that would allow residents to come in on specific positions as full-time employees. They would not be treated any differently than any other applicant. We follow the same procedure, no special treatment, absolutely not. But they would be allowed now to apply for those positions. That would give us some more resources for employing and filling vacancies. On the communication front with residents, we always are challenged as to how we can get information out to them. Currently, the VMS management staff is looking at each department, and they're trying to find any communication duplicates to residents or gaps in communications. So if there are any duplicates, we want to streamline it so that we're not sending or providing more information than is necessary. And if there's a gap, we of course want to find a way to get some communication out to those residents. VMS also discussed the idea of resident participation in their open board meetings or even listening to their open board meetings. And VMS basically decided that this really wasn't necessary because VMS is a management company, and our clients are United Mutual, Third Mutual, GRF. These are the ones that are really who hire us to do the job. And since we're basically a management company, the residents don't really have a need to see what we're doing. The boards need to know what we're doing. So we basically decided that that was not necessary. Finally, VMS had a change, and I know this, many people know this already, but just to inform everyone else, there was a change in leadership within a VMS. Diane Phelps is still the chairperson, and Mary Cito is still first alternate, and now I, Cynthia Rupert, am the second. So hopefully that gives you a little idea of what's going on and what we're working on, and I am available to answer any questions you would like.
I have a question, Cindy. Now, speaking of possibility of hiring residents as a full-time employee.
Excuse me. This is a closed session topic. It should not be discussed in open session. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Sorry about that. I had it on my open session notes. I apologize.
Okay, Nancy?
Yes, Cynthia, if someone is interested in participating as staff to help set up events, can you announce who they contact or what office they contact?
they should contact the recreation department, and Allison would be happy to talk to anybody that would like to volunteer. Again, it can be somewhat strenuous, so it's going to need to be someone that's capable of helping to move tables and set up chairs, et cetera, et cetera.
Anyone else? Cynthia, we have Robert Reyes here in the room this morning, and if it's all right with you, can Robert add to your report from VMS?
Absolutely. Please do. Please do.
Okay, thank you. Robert, do you have any additional words of wisdom to add as a relatively new member of the board?
Thank you. First of all, good morning, neighbors, good morning, directors, and good morning, clients. I'm Dr. Robert Reyes, retired PhD, and I own a co-op, so I'm very interested in the United Mutual. Great job, Cindy. And what I can add is that our emphasis is to, as a VMS director representing GRF, is to give the CEO and the employees here all the support that they need and the accolades for doing a great job and oversight to help them meet the agreement, or AKA contract, that we have with the clients. You know, and I'm preaching to the choir, but I'm going to repeat just for the benefit of our residents. We have 5 corporations that run our wonderful community. We have United, Third, and the Towers. And then we have GRF, and we have, these 3 have an agreement with the GRF to manage our shared amenities. And then these 4 have an agreement or a contract with the management company. Now, we're self-governed, but we have our own management company, or that manage everything for us. And we're here to support them, and we're here to support you and listen to what you want us to do, right? And I believe that as a director of EMS is to make sure that you feel that we're listening to you. Now, there's a very fine line where we respect one another and we trust one another. That's why we have audits and we hold each other accountable, right? And we work together. Where can we cut costs? You know, what does the future hold? Because things are constantly changing, right? And we work together because we love this community. And that's one thing that we like to emphasize, is that we all live here. And I think we have a wonderful opportunity because we're at that time of year where we're assessing and evaluating the amazing job that Siobhan has been doing. And I say that because I've worked with her. I've been attending meetings for 1.5 years. So I'm a little biased because I know the truth. I've attended the budgets, and we could always improve, right, as human beings. But I just want to make sure that we're always on a positive note. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Okay. Tony, yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just an observation. I'm a member of the GRF Rehab Clubhouse Rehab Committee, and it's an ad hoc committee. In our last meeting, and I don't know how this, since Ms. Ruvert has announced it, I'll bring it up. They're going to close Clubhouse 1, and the boardroom here was filled with people users of Clubhouse 1, and they were very, very upset. They claimed they didn't know it was going to be a shutdown. So the only thing I asked is that I forwarded the opinion that we should have planned ahead of time to give these club presidents alternative thing for their activities. Evidently, Clubhouse 1 is very, very active. The badminton club was there, the volleyball club was there, and a whole bunch and they were really, really upset. So I don't know where that's going to go, and I don't know how VMS works with GRF, so I just thought I'd bring that up.
Okay, thank you, Tony.
If I could address that, we are meeting regularly with those users that have concerns about displacement, and so their concerns aren't being ignored. We are doing our best to relocate and find alternatives for those persons. Again, it's a GRF matter. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Siobhan, you want to move in? Thank you very much. Cynthia and Robert, thank you very much for your report. And we're going to be asking an awful lot of you as this year goes on. So I'm glad you're up to the task. Siobhan?
Thank you very much and Happy New Year.
Honorable President, members of the board, it's my honor to give the CEO update this morning. I plan to highlight key village updates, and I do want to begin with a detailed overview of what confidential services our social services division handles. I touched on this briefly last month, but January is one of the division's most busy months coming out of the holidays, so I thought it would be important to touch on that in a little more detail this morning. Social services is available on a walk-in basis here in the community center or by calling 949-597-4267. And the next few slides detail the confidential services handled by social services. These services include comprehensive in-home assessments, resources and referrals connecting residents to community programs and services such as caregiver services, meal delivery, and mental health programs, support groups including bereavement, healthy aging, anxiety, and mindfulness, to name a few. They offer assistance with short and long-term care planning, counseling services, both short-term counseling focusing on immediate needs, and referrals to long-term counseling services as needed. There is a social isolation prevention program and services coordinated with the Council on Aging. This includes assessments, interventions, resources, and referrals to help alleviate social isolation. There is a cognitive health program providing services to residents experiencing memory loss or cognitive impairment. Memory screenings are offered as a tool to identify possible changes in memory and cognition. I also want to draw attention to a new mobility and stability class series that is being offered through a partnership among Recreation and Special Events, the Foundation of Laguna Woods Village, and Memorial Care. The classes will incorporate chair exercises, stretches, and strengthening, and will take place on February 7th, 14th, and 21st from 2:30 to 3:30 p.m. in Clubhouse 2. Please register at the Clubhouse 2 office or the Recreation office. Space is limited, and registrants must attend all 3 sessions. I know Clubhouse 1 has been touched on by both President Bach and by Director Rupert and Director Reyes. I just want to revisit this very quickly. Recently, the project was approved by the GRF board. Notification was done to the community as well as all club presidents in advance of setting the timeline for the project and the phasing for the project. This project is the first substantial renovation of Clubhouse 1 since it was constructed in 1964. Clubhouse 1 is a 41,000 square foot, we call it a community landmark that hosts a wide range of recreation and social activities, and it is the most visited recreation facility here in the village. In terms of scope of work, on the screen before you, you will see the multitude of items that will be taking place as part of the renovation project. This includes updates to interior flooring, wall covering, electrical lighting, and fixtures in various locations within most clubhouse buildings. The project also includes new doors and windows and painting of the exterior stucco. In terms of the Clubhouse 1 renovation schedule, which has already been touched on by other speakers this morning, if we could advance to that slide. Thank you. Clubhouse 1 will be closed for 6 months beginning in March. The full access restriction is estimated to save $100,000, and it limits exposure to issues such as risk in navigating a construction zone, exposure to construction noise and dust, constant accessibility changes to the facility, electrical and water disruptions, and limited parking while contractors stage equipment and supplies. Recreation and Special Events is taking all possible measures to relocate Clubhouse 1 events, and they've done a great job thus far. Over the next several weeks, staff will continue to adjust scheduling and contact all impacted users. The department requests your cooperation, please, while waiting to be contacted. And then the Village Library and Laguna Hills History Center will remain open with parking access in the lot behind the library building. There's also a scope of work available for viewing in the Clubhouse 1 office if anyone is interested in viewing those documents. Coming out of the holidays, we also want to remind residents about waste management and especially cardboard boxes. Approximately 80% of all U.S. products are packaged in cardboard, and while they are recyclable, paper and cardboard make up the largest component of the municipal solid waste stream. So please dispose of your cardboard properly by breaking down boxes and placing the materials in the recycling container. This is an opportunity to be environmentally friendly and give your neighbors equal opportunity to the recycling bins. Just a reminder also that bulky item pickup is available through CR&R's bulky item pickup program, and this picks up unwanted clutter weekly without having to call resident services. Simply place your items by your shared trash enclosure or on the curb where you place your personal and recycling carts. Please put those items out there before 7 a.m. on pickup day or the night before. Car parts, construction, demolition, hazardous waste items are not allowed. Also, items that cannot be safely lifted into a vehicle by 2 people will not be accepted. Residents may also schedule free door-to-door collection of household hazardous waste as needed, including home-generated sharps, medicine waste, and other household hazardous waste by calling WM Curbside, which is under contract with the City of Laguna Woods. Their telephone number is 800-449-7587. Free document shredding services are also available at Laguna Woods City Hall. You may schedule an appointment by contacting City Hall using the City of Laguna Woods website at cityoflagunawoods.org and clicking the blue Arrange Document Shredding button. You may also call City Hall. Proof of Laguna Woods residency is required, and no more than 3 13-gallon kitchen trash bags of documents will be accepted per appointment. And a reminder that garden clippings pickup is provided by the Landscaping Services Department on a weekly basis. Please place the clippings close to the curb in a single pile and make requests through resident services to have them picked up. Please make these arrangements by Thursday noon for prompt pickup the following day, which is Friday. Requests received after the deadline will be honored as soon as possible in the following week. Lastly, as you'll notice, the walls are bare in the boardroom this morning, bare of art, and so are the walls in the community center. I want to draw attention to the Laguna Woods Arts Association, who often graces our walls with their beautiful artwork. And we're in the change out from the 2023 art exhibit to the 2024 art exhibit. So you can expect new pieces to be installed in the community center and the boardroom by the end of this month. So that's always an exciting time to see the new artwork. So that concludes my update this morning. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Yvonne. Moving forward to consent calendar. All matters listed under the consent calendar are recommended for action by committees and will be enacted by the board in one motion. In the event an item is removed from the consent calendar by members of the board, each item shall be the subject of further discussion and action by the board. Maggie, do you want to read items on consent calendar, please?
Okay. Consistent with statutory obligations under Civil Code 5501, a subcommittee of the board consisting of the treasurer and at least one other board member reviewed the United Laguna Woods Mutual preliminary financials for the months of November 2023. Such review is hereby ratified. B, the recommendation from the Landscape Committee. Recommendation to approve the request for removal of one Brazilian pepper tree located at 52B Calle Aragon. Recommended to deny a request to remove ground cover at 2066B via Mariposa East. Number C, recommendation from Architectural Controls and Standards Committee. Number 1, recommendation to approve a variance request to add a bathroom, windows, and rearrange rooms at Manor 216D, Avenida Mallorca. D, approve the review of the United Subleasing and Transfer of Trust documents approved in December 2023, and such review is hereby ratified. E, recommendation from Finance Committee, no recommendation. And F, membership disciplinary matters, there's a disciplinary update report. Thank you.
Do I have a motion to approve these items as read?
I move to approve the items on the consent
Second
calendar.
second video, okay. And I guess do we vote online, Paul? On the screen? Okay. All those in favor? We can vote this way or by raising hands. Okay, all right, very
Oh,
good, thank you. Unfinished business. We will entertain a motion to approve the revision of Architectural Standard 6 air conditioning units and heat pumps. This has been out for a while, 28-day notification for member review and comments to comply with Civil Code 4360 has been approved. And Maggie, do you want to read the resolution?
Right, I'm looking. Resolution 0124XX, Standard 6, air conditioning units, heat pumps. Whereas the Architecture Control and Standards Committee recognizes the need to amend standards and create new standards as necessary, and whereas the Architectural Control and Standards Committee recognizes the need to revise Standard 6 air conditioning units, heat pumps, now therefore be it resolved January 9th of 2024 that the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby adopts Standard 6 air conditioning units, heat pumps as attached to the official meeting minutes. Resolved further that Resolution 01-1858, adopted June 12th of 2018, is hereby superseded in its entirety and no longer in effect. And resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out this resolution as written. I move this resolution.
Second?
Or second.
Thank you. All in favor? Any objections? Okay, this resolution passes. Okay. Going on to new business. Town halls. Our town hall is coming up this Friday, this month's town halls. And Sue, you have that program. Would you like to give us a preview of it?
Yes, it might be a mixture of items. I'm working with Dan.
Unmute yourself, please.
I'm working with Dan Yost to try to get a little update on property insurance and then also the disaster recovery issues. And then I wanted to go over the budget. And we have an excellent chart as to how the funds have played out. And I think it would be of interest to the members. So that's what we plan to do. And then respond to the questions that came from the last meeting so that everyone in the room hears it.
Okay. And then the February meeting, Nancy, is that yours?
Yes.
And what are your plans for February town hall?
We're going to be talking about alterations and improvements. Can you hear me? We're going to be talking about alterations and improvements in the importance of HO6 insurance.
Thank you. Moving on to item 13B, entertain a motion to approve the revision of Architectural Standard 18, gutters and downspouts. And this will be the initial notification or reading of this, which will go into 28-day review. Maggie, do you want to read 13B, please?
Okay, this is item 13B, page 15 of 16. It's the pink page. Resolution 0124XX, Standard 18, gutters and downspouts. Whereas the Architectural Control and Standards Committee recognizes the need to amend standards and create new standards as necessary, and whereas the Architectural Control and Standards Committee recognizes the need to revise Alteration Standard 18, gutters and downspouts, now therefore be it resolved February 13, 2024, that the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby adopts Standard 18, gutters and downspouts, as attached to the official meeting minutes, and resolve further that Resolution 01-1949, adopted June 11, 2019, is hereby superseded in its entirety and no longer in effect. Resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out this resolution as written. I move this resolution.
A second, please. Second. Okay. Discussion? Yes, Tony?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd just like to pass on some good vibes about Mr. Mejia and his group. They're going through the 44 standards that we have under architectural controls, and they're bringing them all up to date. It's a lot of work, and I'd just like to give them some recognition on that. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Oh, thank you. That's good to know. Okay. Are we ready to vote? Any objections to this resolution? All right. We'll go into 28-day review. Following this, 13C, we'll entertain a motion to approve revisions to select resale packet documents. 13C. Maggie, will you recite? Attachment 7.
Getting there. Okay. 13C, Resolution 0124XX amends select pages to resale package. Whereas United by and through its Board of Directors uses various forms and documents for the sale of memberships in United, including forms and documents used by members and prospective members for purposes of transferring memberships and the right to exclusively occupy units. And whereas the Board of Directors, through the Governing Documents Review Committee, has identified modifications to select resale package documents to define alterations, clarify differences between United's master insurance policy, HO6 insurance, and HO4 insurance, and to document whether prospective shareholders accept or decline or accept responsibility for alterations, improvements, and to emphasize the importance that shareholders, members, tenants purchase HO6 or HO4 insurance. Now, therefore, be it resolved January 9th, 2024, that the Board of Directors hereby approves amending the following United Mutual resale documents. Definitions. We're going to add the definition of alterations, responsibility agreement for alterations, define the difference between United's master insurance policy, HO6 and HO4 insurance policies, which are held by the member, and emphasize the recommendation of purchasing HO6 and HO4 insurance by the members, allow prospective shareholders to accept or decline to accept existing alteration improvements when purchasing a unit. That's always been true, but we're noticing it now. Residency restrictions emphasize a strong recommendation to purchase HO6 insurance. Resolve further that the approved revision shall be attached to the minutes of this meeting, and resolve further that officers, directors, and agents of United are authorized to carry out the purpose of this resolution. I move this resolution.
Is there a second? Thank you. Discussion? Anyone? Okay. Anyone, we'll proceed then to vote. All, any objections? All in favor? Okay, good, thank you. And moving on to 13D, we'll entertain a motion to approve the smoking policy. This is the initial notification to members for review and comments to comply with Civil Code 4360, the smoking policy.
All right, Resolution 0124XX, whereas the Governing Documents Review Committee has recommended amending the smoking policy to fairly and reasonably address smoking in Laguna Woods Village, and now therefore be it resolved on February 13, 2024, that the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby approves the revisions to the smoking policy as attached to the official minutes of this meeting, and resolve further that Resolution 011726, approved on February 14, 2017, is hereby superseded and canceled, and resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry about this resolution as written. I move this resolution.
Is there a second? Okay, discussion? Any further? Yes, Maggie?
Okay, this is to clarify where you can and cannot smoke. Basically, you can smoke in an enclosed place, which is your private unit or your automobile. That is basically it. You cannot smoke in hallways, in pathways, in doorways. You cannot smoke in carports. You cannot smoke where it affects others. If the smoke in your unit causes damage to the neighboring unit, or you're smoking on the patio or whatever, there is a recourse that we use through a reporting of that, and social services department will be called, and so on. So this is to clarify where you can smoke. In your enclosed car, in your enclosed home, in your enclosed balcony or porch, if no smoke escapes. So those are the places. It's just clearer here. So that's why we're doing it, because the old one was very confusing and complex. Thank you.
Okay. Further comments? Okay, we're ready to call the vote. All in favor? Thank you. We have a unanimous vote. Thank you. Okay. And this too will go on to a 28-day notice. These items that go on to 28-day notice, I'll be listing them in my biweekly newsletter to you all so that you know what's out on notice and have an opportunity to contact the board if you have concerns, comments, questions, and so on. The item E that I asked to be added at the beginning of this meeting is in regard to the possibility of doing a community survey of United. We're on our 60-year anniversary this year, and the last time a community survey was done was 10 years ago on the 50th anniversary, back in 2014, and it was done in Third. It was not done in United, nor was it done community-wide. It was restricted to Third. And in talking to you all and to others in the Laguna Woods Village community, there's some confusion about how we have changed, some questions about how we are different post-COVID than we were pre-COVID as a community, about how we want our places maintained, and how we want our money best to go to work for us when we pay those monthly assessments. So the idea is that perhaps it's time to do a survey. Now, gross census data is available, of course, online. You can go online and find all kinds of census information that was done That's done yearly, and that's done by various governmental aid entities. And that will give you a gross overall picture of Laguna Woods Village. But it doesn't get very granular. And unless we do a specific survey of some kind that asks our residents about themselves and about their preferences, we'll only have the most superficial understanding of our community today. A number of realtors who work in the community are very keen on collecting data as they go through resales, and because it's, of course, their business. So we have sources of information, but I think we need to perhaps consider going to our residents and asking them directly. Now, a lot has changed in 10 years since a survey was done, right? The technology is so much better. You can't buy a cup of coffee, but you get a survey monkey, 3 seconds later on your cell phone, right, to participate. And SurveyMonkey is a very interesting little website wherein they use AI, artificial intelligence actually, to design surveys. You put in a few key questions and they can design some survey questions for you. So there are lots of things around now that might make this easier to do, much less expensive than it was done 10 years ago, and might give us some very valuable information about how we should be directing our efforts, how we should be setting our priorities as a board and as a community. So that's the thought behind it. And of course, it'd be great if we could get full village participation in something like this, obviously customized to thirds, being a condo rather than a cooperative mutual benefit corporation. So that's the thought. And I would certainly value and need to know how you all feel about this if we want to go forward with this. So do we want to go around the horseshoe, starting Ellen? We'll go around and just give it a quick
I
take.
support any communication with the residents, our neighbors, the community. I support it. Okay.
Thank you. Nancy?
Yes, of course, I support anything that's geared toward master planning and foreseeing the future.
Madam Chair, I support that idea wholeheartedly. Thank you.
Thank you. Vidya?
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
I support it.
I do too.
Yeah. Sue?
I support it, and I hope that we can do it electronically.
Oh, yeah.
If we can try to send out notices to get more people to give us their email address before we send this out, it would be great.
I support it, but I am aware that it will be a costly process. Thank you.
Could be. Pearl?
I do too.
Yeah.
But as Director Kwam said, that it will be very important that we get the majority and as many as residents participate and show their interest and their concerns.
Georgiana?
Yes, I support it as well. I think since one hasn't been done in 10 years, it's a good idea, and it's not an annual expense, so I think it's worth it.
Yeah.
And we probably would have a lot of ways to save as much as we can because of electronic age and AI stuff. So yeah, we like to study and research the best way to do it.
And now, of course, the question is, who would like to head this up? Nancy? Oh, no, you don't.
No,
you're
I
not
just,
raising your hand.
I wasn't going to rebut Maggie, but I wanted to say that in my experience, and many of you have these same experiences in business long term, I've been doing it for 50 years, the yield of information so outweighs what the cost is. The cost seems nominal in the long run relative to having a good survey and good input from planning, budgeting, and including our amenities and programs.
I'd be willing to work on it.
Okay, Sue, that's great. Yeah, good. Yeah. Any other comments, questions? I mean, this is just the first time we're talking about it in a public way, so that everybody is informed that this is a possible direction we'll be going, because it will be something that might be coming in, to your email or to your mailbox or whatever method the experts. And I think it should be done by someone very knowledgeable. rather than just a homemade, what do you think, kids, kind of survey. Garbage in, garbage out, as the saying always goes. So we have to do it the right way. Pearl, you had another comment?
Well, as you said, with the help of AIs,
yes,
costs might be surprisingly less expensive than we expect. And I think as a board director, our job is to promote it, to increase the participation of the residents as much as possible.
Right.
Thank you.
Nancy?
Yes, I think that maybe we might look at this either as an advisory committee or an ad hoc committee. An ad hoc is really empowered. Advisory might be more advisory on the initial get up and go on this. And we could solicit people who have R&D background or that AI backgrounds to some extent.
Yeah, I've been thinking it'd probably become an ad hoc committee if you all buy in on it. Mm-hmm. Maggie?
We must not have people who are not electronically acute. We must not tell them that we don't care about them,
right,
and we are not going to do it, which means we are going to have to mail out some of them, and that is expensive. So we need to be sure that the questions are pertinent to United and to our members.
Right.
And please beg them to return it. We have fewer than 1/3 of the population that responds to our ballots every year. So we need a larger return than that. We need a larger return than that. So we should talk this one up, and when we get it going, let them know that we really want to know, and we really must know from as many as possible. Thank you.
And language, too. We have to bear in mind that we
right.
need to hear from everyone as many as possible in the community, and communicate in a way that we can all participate. Nancy, you had something else?
No, I just had something for the director, carousel go around.
Okay. Okay, thank you. All right, and we will proceed with that, and we'll go around the horseshoe in the other direction now. Director comments, we'll start with you, Georgiana. Anything to add to the mix this morning?
Not really.
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay. Nikki?
Well, respond to the open forum speakers. I mean, most of them are already gone, but we didn't have a chance. I was very impressed at the foundation's report and how many groups and clubs are participating for the annual contribution and so on. And, well, I know that Director Lee Perley has been really advertising to Korean community, so that there are many residents that who needs our attention and help, so on. So I hope that those kind of activity will spread out and help one another in this community.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Maggie?
Okay, I'd encourage everybody to look at the website.
Right.
It's really easy. It gets confusing sometimes. You might get lost, but every time you get there, even if you get lost, you find something interesting to read. Also, I want you to look at the November package. It has more than one page. It really does. It has about 60 pages. And most people read one page and go no further. The second or third page is HO6 insurance, and we'll give a plug for that insurance for everybody. If you have alterations or anything, if you have stuff you value in your apartment or unit, please consider HO6 insurance. If you do damage to anything else, United Property or anyone else's property, the HO6 insurance will help you. Some people learn that at new resident orientations. Some people don't come to new resident orientations. Some people don't read all parts. Everybody should look into HO6 insurance one more time. Thank you.
Sue?
Yes, I want to invite everyone, the board and members of the community to come on January 15th to the Landscape Committee. It will start at 9:30 and it will end at 11. And the focus is on the Dudek report, which was on the trees. And this has been going on for like a year and a half. We've got a very good report. And we have sent that out to the board members and the ad hoc committee. So if you'll please review that so that everyone understands it and we could move forward. There will also be a closed session after this, and we would request that the board stay for that closed session. Thank you.
Pearl?
Yes, I have 2 points. First of all, I hear that, this is not the first time I hear, but sometimes when you have a problem with the washer, it takes a very long time to get the new delivery. I wanted to know whether it has any problem with our inventory, and if it is so, I think we should communicate them, because we are low on inventory. I think the communication would help a lot of these things. My second point is, during the meeting, when there's a 28 days notification, stuff like that, there's a civil code that we have to read. But a lot of the times, our residents get lost. And we ourselves, unless we have a piece of paper to follow, it gets boring. So just what we did at the last resolution, Maggie would read everything, and then she would say, basically, it is about the clarifying about the smoking, where you can smoke, to summarize it. Yeah. And I think that would be very helpful for our residents, and as a matter of fact, for us too, because sometimes, the resolution is very long and boring and complicated, and so unless we stay focused, we get lost. But I think at the end, if we can summarize what this is about, that will get our attention. Thank you very much.
Vidya?
Yeah, I'd like to address 2 things. Number one is I would like to applaud the foundation for a job well done. Mm-hmm. And I would like to, in whatever way, try to encourage all members to contribute and give something to the fund. It is our fund. And unless we contribute to it, it won't work. And The other thing is I'm just reiterating what some people have said. I don't want to take up too much time. But I think Maggie does an excellent job of summarizing things and pointing things out to us. And I would really appreciate if you do what you did just now with regard to the insurance, just as Pearl said. Thank you.
Thank you. Tony?
Thank you, Madam Chair. The only thing I have, yesterday I was going out to CVS through the automatic gate at San Sebastian, and I was completely dumbfounded because a car, a little Chevrolet, I think it was Chevrolet thing, came through that gate that's usually just for golf carts. And I did report it to security, but I was so upset I didn't have presence of mind to take a picture of the car. So I'd like to refer that on to security to see. I mean, I think we have that on camera, what's going on there, but that really took me by surprise. I didn't get my camera up fast enough to get a picture of the car, but he came through that gate, and of course that's and where I'm brought up, that's a breach of security. Thank you, Matt.
Nancy?
Yes, I have 2 points that I'd like to share with the residents and the board. One is on the issue of reports. I get a lot of requests about that. And 2 is the financial value of our boards. The first on reports, I often get questions, and I'm sure all of you, where a resident or members or a club will say, gee, I'd like to have a report on this or statistics on this because they want to do data analysis themselves, evaluate something. It's very common. The efficient way that we do that is really through, you can communicate with the director, but through the committees. Our committee secretaries are really spot on their game. They really know how to take the information sometimes that we clumsily ask for and interpret it into a report that they come back with. And what stuns me in I'm on the GRF Building E project, and it's complex information that they come back and by the next meeting we have information that we've asked for, even if it's in a crude form. So I want to compliment the staff for their ability to pay attention to us and interpret what we need, even when some of our more lay directors don't necessarily say it correctly. So compliments to them. And in terms of asking a report for us fellow directors, the way to do it is through committees. And if you have specific information as a director requests some records or something, there is a process for that. Catherine Laster will tell you how to do that. That makes it more efficient, and then people are not going around saying, well, I can't get this report or that information, and you can communicate it to people, ask it of you, and encourage them to attend those committee meetings. The second important point I wanted to make was the financial value of our boards. Having just said that about reports, we have 5 corporations. Let's say ballpark, we have 11 directors on each one. That's 55 human beings. So imagine if it's 55 directors each go to a staff person and ask them for something. That person will never get any work done in a day, let alone in a week. So my prior comments kind of illuminate why that's not efficient for us to just pick up the phone or email someone and say, gee, I need this report, tell me how many of this or that, the other thing. The financial value of the directorship, we're at the end of one year and the beginning of another year, so it becomes a time of reflection. And I've served on other boards, and many other people here have served on other boards. And I just kind of was musing the other day about the credentials of people that we have on our boards, and just on the United board, if I took the mean value and ascribe a number to it, times the 11 directors, there's a contribution of about $1.7 million a year to the benefit of the members that we're contributing to the United Mutual, about 1.7. And that's not even putting in a figure for what payroll taxes and everything else would be if we were paid consultants. And I want the residents to appreciate the investment in time and effort, because the committee work is very demanding. Some of you are retired. I'm not. I have another national company that I run, and I can just tell you that it's as demanding as my company's work. I enjoy it just as much, and I intend to contribute just as much. But I want to say thank you to my colleagues here that you're contributing about $2 million a year in in-kind contribution, which is a technical term, but I think you all understand it. Thank you.
Ellen?
Thank you, Nancy, for giving us value. I appreciate it. And Pearl for talking about communication. I think that's very important. And the survey is top really importance. This morning I want to talk about how I support an audit. We have had, and Robert Reyes and Cynthia Rupert confirmed, they both are on the VMS board, but they confirmed that VMS is a property management company. And this company has never been audited in 7 years. And it is customary for property management companies, it's standard operating procedure to regularly review and evaluate the management company. And that includes finances, the landscape, general services, damage restoration, resident services, to name just a few of these departments. These evaluations should be performed by professionals, and it should be done every 2 to 3 years. So and it is up to us directors, our value $1.7 million. We should push and support this to do an audit and move forward. Thank you.
I guess I'm the last one, and just for a moment, if you would indulge me, if you can close your eyes and imagine what United would look like if we did not have our trees, our tree canopy, our urban forest, the shrubs around the shrubbery throughout our community, around the clubhouses, on our streets, and our cul-de-sacs and so on. Can you imagine this place bare stripped of all of the wonderful greenery that makes it so lush and so beautiful? And when we talk about the landscaping study, the Dudek study that we're going to hear about on Monday the 15th, I really encourage people to attend that meeting and look at the work that they have done to give us the information about our urban forest. Because without it, that's our beauty point. That's what makes United such a beautiful place to live. Our housing is pretty basic housing. Architecturally, it's pretty basic, let's face it. But it's the trees, it's the shrubbery, it's the urban forest that makes us such a wonderful and beautiful place to live. So I hope everybody can make it on Monday to learn about the tree study. And that's it from us. Do we want to take 5 before we get into committee reports, or do we want to forge ahead?
Forge ahead.
Forge ahead? Okay, Mickey, you're on. We'll do United Committee reports. And remember to make these succinct. If you don't have anything to report, just say nothing to report. And Mickey, we'll start with financials.
All right, Finance Committee. Well, Happy New Year, Board of Directors and members. I would like to bring the Treasurer's report first. Even though this is the beginning of the year, our report this morning is not at the end of the year report. It is the period of November 30th, 2023, and hopefully that we have a year-end report the next committee meeting. So let us go to the slides. 1. Through the reporting period of November 30, 2023, total revenue for United was $47,222,000 compared to expenses of $47,863,000, resulting in net expense of $641,000. Slide 2 shows in finance, we keep a close eye on the operating portion of our financial result. The operating fund without depreciation shows an operating deficit of $155,000 through the reporting period. This chart shows how much of our revenue went into operation, and with $21,741,000 coming in from assessments and $1,368,000 coming from non-assessment revenue. This is compared to operating expenditure of $23,264,000 without depreciation. The next chart, slide 3, takes the full income statement and compares those results to budget. We can see that United ended the period better than budget by $1,021,000 when combining both operating and reserve savings. The next slide shows the most significant variances from budget were attributable to the following. Number 1, employee compensation, $1,623,000. Favorable variance resulted primarily in the landscaping and M&C department due to open positions. Impacted areas include grounds maintenance, irrigation, tree maintenance, minor alterations, plumbing, and paint. Recruitment is in progress to fill in current open positions in grounds maintenance, contracted shrub bed maintenance to outside vendors for the pruning and weeding cycle as they contribute to fill open positions. And next favorable one is investment income, $501,000. This variance resulted from higher rates of return received on Treasury bill and CD investments than anticipated at the time of budget preparation. Well, red part, insurance, $216,000 red, unfavorable variance due to an increase in property insurance premium at the October 2023 renewal. And then outside services, $925,000, unfavorable variance, primarily in the landscape and maintenance and construction departments. And landscape contracted shrub bed maintenance to outside vendors for the pruning and weeding cycle as they continue to fill open positions. In MNC, there have been more moisture intrusion events caused by rain than anticipated at the time of budget preparation. This variance was furthered by the timing of the waistline remediation program compared to its budget spread. Let's go to next slide. On this pie chart, we show non-assessment revenue earned to date of $2,007,372 to be exact. And revenue is organized by category, starting with our largest revenue generating category, investment income, followed by fees and charges, laundry, leasing, lease processing fee, resale processing fee, and so forth. And slide 6, on this pie chart, we see the expenses to date of $47,862,970, showing that our largest categories of expense are employee compensation and property tax, followed by outside services, utilities, insurance, materials, and supplies, and so forth. And in the upper right corner, we show a breakout of utility categories: sewer, water, trash, electricity, telephone, so forth. Slide 7, we see those same expenses excluding property tax. So we just show that without excluding property tax, what kind of expenses we are having. In slide 8, our fund balances are shown here. The contingency fund balance on November 30, 2023 was $1,183,000. Contributions collected totaled $69,000 with no expenditures to date. The reserve fund balance on November 30th was $16,144,000. Contributions and investment revenue collected totaled $11,505,000, while expenditures were $12,071,000. Next slide, 9. We compare this to historical fund balance for the past 5 years on this chart, which have averaged $19 million, and we are a little short this year, of course. That's what we planned. Until 2026, it will go down, but we need to figure out how we increase those values in the future. And then slide 10, we have a slide here to show resale history from 2021 through 2023. Through November 30th last year, United resales totaled 313, which is 77 resales lower than the prior year. For the same period, the average year-to-date resale price for a United Mutual Monarch was $356,000, which is $1,000 more than the prior for the same time period. Finance Committee, we used to meet monthly, but we decided to meet every other month, so we did not meet in December. And we will have next committee meeting in the last week, Tuesday of this January, and hopefully by then we will have the final year report. And resale report was already there, and the leasing report is also attached in our report, right? So not much change, about 12.5% leasing. This will complete my report. Is there any question?
Okay. Thank you, Vicki.
Thank you.
Architectural controls and standards, Tony?
Thank you, Madam Chair. On our previous and our consent calendar, you can see what we were up to with the Architectural Control and Standards Committee. Very, very busy. And so I won't bore you with any more details, but our next meeting will be on December the 21st, 2023. Everybody's invited. And if you're planning to do something with your home, go on the internet and look at the Architectural Control Rules 1 through 44, and it will save you a lot of time and pain. Thank you.
Okay. Nancy, member hearings?
Actually, Maggie chairs that, but I'm happy to address it. We are pretty complete with respect to the backlog of cases that we were adjudicating, which was to determine what portion of work was done, was the residence portion, and what work was done that was the mutual's portion. The residence portion, of course, being a result of an alteration or an improvement. We meet weekly on it, and we're now getting into, I think we're just about caught up to date. Some of them were 2 years plus in arrears in terms of adjudicating those, and I think we're pretty current.
Are you now able to just go back to once a month, or are you still doing every 2 weeks, 2 weeks, every 2 weeks?
Well, we've been doing almost every week, so we're probably going to go to maybe twice a month.
Okay.
And it depends on some of the other ones, because some of those are legal issues, and I just don't know how many other issues come up relative to that. You can never predict that.
Thank you. Okay. Maggie, governing documents?
Okay, you saw the fruits of governing documents today in the smoking policy and the other policies. So we're working hard. We have a terrific staff, and it's a very active meeting. We meet again on January 18th. I would also like to say that while real sales may be down, staying is becoming more and more popular. People are staying longer, much, much longer. They can get a caregiver, they can get a co-occupant, they can get someone to help them, and they like to stay here. So that's the positive side of the resales being down. Thank you.
Okay. Sue, landscape?
Just, again, a reminder to come on the 15th at 9:30 to go over the tree report, and I think you'll find it very interesting. And then our work at the committee level, again, we're working on just the appropriate trimming of the trees and whether or not they should be taken out. And that's always contentious to the individuals. And so we're working on that. But our big concern for the future is AB 1572, and that's where they want us to severely limit irrigation, and it will result in turf removal if we don't get this changed in the legislature. So we'll be bringing that up a lot because that takes money to reduce the turf.
Pearl, maintenance and construction for United?
MMC, our next meeting is scheduled for January 17th, and we do not have a December meeting. Thank you.
Resident advisory, Tony?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Our next meeting is the January 11th here. It's Thursday afternoon, 4 o'clock in the Elm Room. And if you have something you want us directors to deal with for you, please show up. That's all I have.
Yeah, Tony and I were amusing ourselves with an interesting word of Norwegian origin, ombudsman, O-M-B-U-D-S-M-A-N, ombudsman. An ombudsman is essentially what the advisory committee is, an intermediary, a neutral intermediary for the resident to exercise knowledge and context for the benefit of the resident. So that's a great word. Okay, GRF committee reports, GRF finance, Mickey?
The committee met on December 20th, and it was a little disarray, I think, in terms of the formation or organization of the meeting seems to be a little loosened up. I mean, GLF, of course, board was elected a little later than us, and then they had some the treasurer issue, so on, but finally we got a new treasurer. And then I realized that our board has two representatives, me and Tom. And of course, Tom was in England. He tried to get on an online participation. He was not able to. So I was the only one. And then there were so many third mutual, all guys, and they didn't even know who were the real member and who were the alternates, so on. But I hope by next one they will figure out. But anyway, they're talking about finance was $2 million favorable throughout the year compared to budget, which was good news, but compensation was a little less than budget, and it seemed like that a lot of vacancy contribute that fact. And utility was a little unfavorable because of the increase of the numbers, so on. And then they reported that Golden Rain Foundation portion of the corporation's basic assessment increased by $6.91, which is 3.1 point increase current year. That was a highlight of the information that I got. And next committee meeting will be held on February 21, 1:30 p.m. So if you are interested, and especially with the clubhouse one and so on, so please participate. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Ellen, community activities.
Yes. Like Nancy said, most business is conducted in the committees, and the committees are very important to attend. The CAC had a lot going on. Especially talking about Clubhouse 1 closing March 4th, and due to safety, and so we'll speed up the progress and have everything done in 6 months. Library and History Center will continue to stay open. In December, they celebrated 400 plus volunteers at Clubhouse 5. The fitness center is now check-in is barcodes. Security gate at the equestrian center will be completed by the end of this month. There were 2,300 visitors at the library this last year. The tennis club rules are in development right now. The Performing Arts Center on January 15th, the show or the movie, Golden Globe winner, one of the winners is Barbie, will be playing at 2 o'clock and 7 o'clock. What people love to go to is the bazaar, which is at Clubhouse 5 on January 27th from 10 to 2. Their open sales started on January 3rd on ActiveNet if you want to try and get a table. Tom McRae reported on the golf course, and the driving range is now open. And par 3 needs a champion. There are, during January, there will be twilight events and Sunday afternoon fun competitive format. The garden center, veggie pods, tables are all rented. And that will do it. Oh, the drop-in lounge TV battle is still going on, so there is no decision to be continued. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. GRF landscape, Sue?
It met in November, and I really don't have anything to...
You reported that in December, okay.
to report.
Maintenance and construction for GRF. There's kind of an active, at the main committee, Yvonne Horton has taken over as chair of that committee, and we had a good lively discussion about benches. Of course, benches are much appreciated by those of us who walk or walk rather slowly around the community. So a good resting place is a very welcome sight. So the bench has been suggested. We have a bench program that I'm hoping that that I will be able to push a bit. The overview of projects that were accomplished in 2023 was presented by Guy West, and there were lots of very expensive and important projects that were completed in GRF, and of course there's a lot more to come, which leads me into Clubhouse 1. I was on that ad hoc committee as well, and I think we've heard a lot about that today. I think the important thing is if people want to get really granular and look at the details of that plan, they will be available at the office in Clubhouse 1 for anyone who wants to go by there and look at all the specs and look at the exactly what is going to be done in each of the buildings on the campus. So that will be available for public viewing, or for member viewing, I shouldn't say public. So that's pretty much the report that's of any additional information to you than what you've already heard. Nancy, space planning for ad hoc, that's yours?
Correct. That's also called the Building E project.
Right.
Effectively, it started with, I just want to refresh everybody, it's the beginning of the year. It effectively started with that we had security and we needed to move 15 personnel. And the committee wasn't really staffed, or GRF wasn't really staffed with people with, let's say, architectural and planning backgrounds. No offense, but that was a fact. So I was elected a director, and Allison fortuitously put me on that committee because I do have a strong architectural and planning background in up in Silicon Valley for many years. Essentially, what I noticed when I came on board is that they weren't really doing a planning process that you would normally do, which is let's get the as-built for all of our structures so we know where we stand in square footage, and if we have to move people from, regardless of department security, someplace else, where we had space, and then ascertain the utilization. So there were 3 elements, but the first was we need to have a space utilization study, and that's essentially the plan with the Austin company, the report that was kind of in secret for a while. And the GRF ad hoc is now holding open meetings as well, so that's, the members are showing up, and it's been very productive. The net of it, of our last meeting on January 3rd, was the second aspect of it, which I had to ask them at the preceding meeting. You now need to do a utilization study of our amenities and programs. And Allison, is it Griglio? Anyway, she did assemble some figures. They need to be honed a little bit. And it tells us, she did it from about 2005, and it's very revealing about what things are, where things are trending. And it's not, mutually exclusive of the pandemic. It's telling us some information that's important in terms of what people are interested in and what they're not. So that's kind of feeds into master planning as well. All of this ad hoc committee on the building is about moving some specific group, the security, landscape, et cetera. but it's also taking also a further long view on what we need to do. And I was asked to opine, and I said that looking at for the security people, we have room in this building to do that. But if you come to that ad hoc committee meeting, they're now open, you'll find it informative and very interesting.
Sue, Media and Communications?
I'm sorry.
Sue, your report on Media and Communications Committee?
The Communications Committee, again, we did not meet.
Okay. And I also don't have a report from Mobility and Vehicles. There was no meeting. You've heard about that before. I think, Maggie, yours too is community security.
I'm sorry.
You've reported on that before.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And traffic also you've reported on. Disaster preparedness, I think, Tony, you reported in December on that one. Anything more to add?
Nothing more to add, except our next meeting is coming up here on January 30th, and with all the earthquakes around the world, maybe we should check our houses to make sure we have everything we need to survive for a week. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, IT advisory, Sue?
The IT advisory, we continue to work on the ERP project, and it's making good progress. It's a little behind, but we're working on how to address that, how to get the funding and the staffing where it needs to be.
Okay. Thank you all. Item 17, future agenda items. All matters listed are resolutions on 28-day notice for future board meetings, and those we took care of today. Architectural standards on gutters and smoking policy. And with that, is there anything else at this point for open meeting? We have done admirably well today, and we're getting better at this. So thank you all. Thank you all. So with that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I do have a motion.
Let's recess. Well, recess. Adjourn open, recess, return for closed in, let's see, about by noon, I guess we can start. So, okay, we are on recess. Thank you.
Can we just have a closed meeting?
Yeah, right.